1, 2, 3.
Hi everyone!
Hi everyone, I'm Elia Hannosh here. I'm going to do my first storytime video, which is really exciting for me. I've always wanted to do story times, but a lot of the stories I have are like really short. They're like really interesting and funny or like scary, but they're really short, so I just never bothered to do one. But I remembered something that happened to me when I was little, so I decided to make it into a story. Okay, so when I was around 4 or 5 years old, I had a neighbor that had like a really big dog, and the dog was a pit bull mixed with a lab. We would always see her walking her dog, and we were like really close friends, her and my parents, and we would go over to her house a lot because we lived in a cul-de-sac, so there were like a few houses. One day, I think it was about like 7 o'clock p.m. I can be totally wrong, but I remember it was at night, but not like too dark. She brought her dog over because she would take her dog on walks, and she would always stop by our house if we were outside or something. So she brought her dog over to our house, and we went outside, and we were in the where you pull into the garage. So we were in the parking space right next to the sidewalk at our house. We were talking, and then I asked her if I could pet her dog or hug her dog, something like that. So she said yes, but to be careful because the dog was aggressive, that it was trained like that, and plus it's a pit bull, so those are known to be aggressive. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them are, and she happened to be one of those. I want to say that I was never afraid of dogs until that day, because I was literally attacked. So what the dog did was, well, I reached in to hug the dog, and then I don't want to say her name, but the lady said, okay, just be careful, honey. I don't want her to like bite you or anything. And I wasn't listening. And first of all, I didn't really understand English because my first language was Spanish. So around that time is when I was learning, like, that's a whole nother story. But I didn't really speak English. I don't know if I understood her or not. But like I said, this was a long time ago. I'm almost 17 now, and this is when I was like 4. Well, my mom said, I'll say it in Spanish and I'll translate. She said, okay, Eli, ya déjala, which means like, okay. Eli has always been my nickname. So she was like, okay, Eli, leave her alone, like stop hugging her now. And I was just like, whatever, zoning everyone out. I was hugging her, and like my head was on her back, and I remember petting this dog numerous times and nothing had happened, but I think it's because I was hugging the dog for so long that she just like snapped. She snapped, and she like grabbed she turned around. So my head was like this. I was hugging the dog like this, and then the dog, she turned this way and grabbed my back here, like my head, and just pulled it. I mean, you guys can imagine how dogs play with their toys and how they like really aggressive and just throw them around. So basically, she grabbed me like a chew toy, snapped. She just like shook me. She bit me so hard that I started bleeding a lot. I had like 2 holes, deep holes on my skull, and I was bleeding like so much. And then when her owner saw that I was bleeding, she like grabbed her dog by the leash and she went running. She took her to her house, because obviously, especially pit bulls, if there are any reports about dogs, well, yeah, like if we had reported her dog biting me, especially that bad, like her dog could eventually be put down or taken away. Like I said, especially pit bulls, because they're aggressive dogs, and I mean, dogs are sadly known for being put down because of these things. But like I said, that had never happened to me with this dog. So my mom started freaking out, and she got her phone to call my dad because my dad wasn't there. But the funniest part of this all was Dalia, my sister. Hasina wasn't born. That's my little sister. But Dalia, my older sister, which is a year older than me, I clearly remember Dalia. She was right next to me when this happened, sprinting into the house. She didn't know what to do. She was literally running with her arms like this, screaming. She's like, oh my god, she just got bit, oh my god. And she was like hysterical. She was screaming and she ran into the house, she ran back out, she ran back in. She didn't know what to do. And then my oldest sister, Priscilla, was there also. So it was Dalia, my mom, Priscilla, and myself. My mom got the phone to call my dad, obviously, because she was like, she didn't know. My mom has worked in the medical field, but she was so in shock that she couldn't even think. She didn't know what to do. She tried calling my dad, and she dropped her phone because she was like shaking so much. And then my sister Priscilla had to pick up my mom's phone and call my dad because obviously my mom couldn't. And then my dad, you tell my dad something and he has a heart attack. He cannot deal,
especially about us.
Yeah, he cannot, like, if he hears that something happened to his daughters like that, he will react like a dad, basically. And he like sped home, and I don't remember any of this. The only thing I remember is the dog, me hugging the dog, and the dog biting me. I do remember that, but after that I don't remember what happened in between. And I remember my sister, I remember Dalia running into the house and screaming, and then it's like nothing ever happened. I don't remember anything. So the owner took her dog and she ran and dropped her off at her house, and then she came back because her house was like 3 houses down to mine. And she came back and like all she was saying was, please don't report this, please don't report this. If you tell them what happened, tell them it was the lab. Because as I said again, pit bulls are known to attack like this and it can be put down. So she was like, please just tell them it was a lab, tell them it was a lab. So my dad came home, he picked me up, and my mom was driving and my dad was, they didn't even put me in the car seat. My dad was holding me in his arms in the passenger seat while my mom was like driving to the hospital. I can't remember if parents took me to the ER or to, I do remember what hospital it was, but I can't remember if it was the ER or if it was just the hospital. And I remember my mom telling me, because I asked her the other day, she told me that she pulled up where you can do the like emergency loading section, and my dad got out really quick with me in his arms. He like ran into the hospital and took me in, and I don't remember any of this, so this is all what my mom told me. Another thing I do remember is but in the hospital that I went to, there's this glass wall. So on one side of the glass wall were the rooms, and on the other side was the lobby. So they were taking me in to one of the rooms where they were going to sew me up. So I remember looking out and I saw Dalia standing there, and she was like leaning on the glass wall. I don't know if you can see my hands. She was leaning on the glass wall like this, and her face was on the wall, and she was like crying so much. I do remember that. I think my mom, I know that my dad was in the room with me, and I think my mom was in there too, but I was like going crazy. I remember they had me laying down and I was kicking, screaming, moving around. So, and the last thing I remember was they had to tie me down to one of those kind of like a gurney, and they had to tie me down and so I wouldn't move, basically. And I remember because after all of this had happened, I told my family that I remember that they wrapped me up like a burrito, and the last thing I remember is my dad telling me we're gonna get ice cream after this, because the doctor had told him that I should get ice cream because it would help for the pain or something. And so they tied me down, and then the doctor put some numbing medicine, like a shot in my head, and then they started sewing me up, but I don't remember the shot or anything after that. So, but it's crazy how I clearly remember certain things, and then the rest I don't remember at all. Like, I don't remember driving to the hospital. I don't remember anything after the dog had bit me, obviously, except for a few things. I don't remember. I felt like I had been put asleep when they put the numbing medicine, and then I felt like I blacked out completely throughout that whole process, except for the few things that I remembered. So That was just crazy. I think that's one of the worst things that has happened in my life. I don't know, it's just so crazy. It probably doesn't sound crazy, but it was. Dog. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot one of the important parts. So the nurse ended up asking how this happened, obviously, and my mom told them that the dog had bit me really hard, like really deep, and they asked what kind of dog it was. That's the first thing they asked. My mom said it's a lab mixed, and then the police ended up going to my house, and well, we weren't there. I don't know if it's when we were there or when we weren't there, I don't know, but they ended up driving by, and the lady, the owner of the dog, asked my mom if she had filed a report, and my mom said no, we didn't even call the police because it wasn't necessary. But the nurse ended up calling the police, I think, and telling them that a lab mixed like what had happened and everything. So the police stopped by our house and drove in that cul-de-sac to see if there were any pit bulls or any big dogs like that. They didn't put the dog down because of what happened to me, but she ended up biting someone else, and they put the dog down because I think that was like the third or fourth time that she had bit someone. So that was the story of me being attacked by a dog. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you haven't watched my other video, which was my trip to Ensenada, I'll link it either here or here, somewhere up here, and you guys make sure to check that out. If you guys enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up because it makes me happy to see that you guys are enjoying my videos, and it lets me know if you guys want to see more, any suggestions. And I want to say hi to all of my new subscribers. I want to say hi to one person. Their name is Our Early Journey on YouTube. I've been really enjoying their videos. Okay, so I've watched a few of her videos since I just subscribed, but I'm like in love with her channel. I've been obsessing over her videos, and like I said, she's growing, which is amazing. Right now she's kind of a small YouTuber, so you guys should definitely go check out her channel. I'll link it in the description box down below. She didn't ask me to talk about her channel or anything. I enjoy her videos. And if you're watching this, I hope you enjoy my videos as well. Like I said, I've been loving your videos. So yeah, you guys go check out her channel, and this is like a long outro, but I hope you guys enjoyed my first story time. If you'd like to see more, definitely let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more on my channel.